I grew up in Southern California. My father ran a private company there that was owned by Howard Hughes. We had opportunities to do things that many others would never be able to see because of Mr. Hughes's position in the world.
Bob was raised in an environment where he was accustomed to seeing people that had great power and wealth.
I was a young boy when, over the Christmas break, my father needed to go on a business trip to Mexico City. And we checked into a hotel, and I looked out my window, and for the first time in my life, I really saw poverty. And I looked at that, and I felt horrible. Right then and there, I decided in my life that I ought to do something to change that condition.
Bob had the capacity to understand what true wealth is. And he also had the capacity to understand how wealth should be used.
I left Southern California when I was graduated from high school and became a student at BYU first, and then transferred to the University of Utah. And I always found the university to be a place that was concerned about the individual. And I think that's a defining characteristic of the University of Utah. It's just not a place where you just go learn statistics or econometrics as I did. It was a place that helped me learn about life. From University of Utah, I had the opportunity to go back to Boston, where I then received a PhD in business economics. I taught at Harvard for a little while, then began a business career. Worked all around the world, lived in London, Amsterdam, worked in the Middle East, South America, came back from those travels and went to Wall Street. While I was working down at Wall Street, I got a call from Mitt Romney, and he had started a private equity firm, and I went up and joined what was then Bain Capital. Well, they had invested a total of $35 million when I joined, and when I left the firm in mid-2004, some 16 years later, we were then managing $35 billion.
Bob is a genius. You don't graduate from honors at the University of Utah and go on to get a PhD out of Harvard without being very bright.
We started up Sports Authority, we started up Staples, largest owners at one time of Sealy Mattress.
His father tried to convince him to go into the business world. Bob told him no.
I never wanted to be in Wall Street, and I was pretty much anti-business. And then, all of a sudden, I found that business could become the means of doing everything else that I wanted to do in life. And we started a group called Unitus. We have built medical clinics, dental clinics, built schools all throughout Africa. And all that just became possible through what I did in business.
There's a lot of really nice people. There's a lot of really great, successful people. And Bob's one of those guys that's gray hair. He's the kindest guy you ever want to meet. He's the most successful man you probably could ever meet.
The LDS Church called one day and asked if I would go serve a mission in Africa for them as a mission president.
Now, what's it like to make a decision where you walk away from an organization that has $35 billion under asset management, that you're in the key leadership role, and also that the organization is going to go from $35 billion to $60 billion in a few years?
It was not anticipated at all.
Most people are just focused on their little place in their world. He has the ability to back up and see moving pieces, and then also backwards and forwards a little while and see how it should be and how it goes. And so I think that's how he can say, I'm going to go to Africa.
I realized that everything we have in our life is because of service from somebody else. And to do it again, I'd do it 1,000 times over. I'm deeply grateful for the opportunity that I have to go out and give. When we came back from Africa, John Huntsman called and wanted to know if I would be interested in doing another private equity firm. He said, one promise we're going to make, whatever share ownership we take and whatever we make from that, we'll give it away. 100% of everything we make from that ownership. And I said, John, that's the best offer I've ever had.
It's the best possible scenario for what I think the idea of a capitalistic society is that we all pitch in to make money and then we use it to kind of help each other out.
The good thing about the future is you never worry about it. As long as you just stay focused on your principles and they'll take you wherever you need to be.
I think Bob gets way more than most people. Like from beginning to end, I think he just gets more. And I think that gives him tremendous perspective.
You know, Bob Gay could be the dean of a major business school. You could be the president of the university.
He'll always be digging into something. And I think digging into this kind of humanitarian, what can I do with this big pie that we have? I don't know another human being like him. There's just no one even close to what Bob Gay is and what he's done.
To everyone at University of Utah, maybe I could just say thank you by saying, after I learned about this, I privately called President Young one day, and I just said, I'm truly, truly humbled by this. I am grateful to be thought of even in these terms, to be honored by the university, but more than that, I'm honored to be associated with the university. Thank you for everything.